For the pop-up.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Hello, welcome to the Average Film Enjoyers podcast, your favorite film podcast. Trey is unfortunately, he's pretty sweepy. He had a rough day at work. Trains left without him. So he's just going to take a backseat and vibe in the background. Me and Jagger are going to yap about some stuff. Got a movie from the Cannes Film Festival I want to talk about for a little bit. And then watch list. We're talking about On the Waterfront after, and Gone Girl, which was Jagger's first watch. I'm excited to talk about that. And yeah, should be pretty chill. Friday, some upcoming episodes for you. Friday, we're wrapping up Jeff Prophet until August when Princess of the Trap House airs. Trey keeps saying if. We'll do an episode on it. Don't worry. We'll keep you covered. It's I believe it's 10 kilos in the trunk. Full clip for a snitch and street crimes unit, I believe. I cut myself on glass. I dropped a glass the other day and there's just like stray glass around my house. Yeah, so we'll be busting out the rest of Jeff Prophet finally. It's been an experience, to say the least. They're not good, but they're funny to talk about. They're not fun to watch, but they're fun to talk about. So we'll be finishing that up, and then Tuesday next week we got a banger episode. I'm going to talk about Grand Budapest Hotel, one of the best movies ever made, one of Wes Anderson's best movies. It's my number 2. It used to be my number 1 until I saw Fantastic Mr. Peak.
That's fair.
Love that movie, dude. Saw that movie twice in one day, and then the next day again, the first time I saw it. I love it so much. It's so funny. And also Ben-Hur, which I'm excited to watch because it's like a staple of cinema.
How long is it?
It's like the same length as Killers of the Flower Moon, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was like 5 hours. I don't know.
I think it's about 3.5 hours. Speaking of 5-hour movies, I was going through your watch list and I'm very curious about that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's crazy. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, I'm chilling. It was a bit of a chaotic day at work. Our shipments, I work at a bakery, and our freezer shipments haven't been showing up, so people are getting a little angry, but it's fine. I leave before noon, so I don't deal with any of the customers really. So it's whatever. Because I start at 5 every day, so I'm like, I'm out of there. It's not my problem. Yeah, I've just been chilling. I've been watching a bunch of movies this week.
I'm just excited because I have tickets for Furiosa tomorrow. So I have
Hell yeah, me too, dude. I'm so excited.
Oh my god, I haven't seen Beyond Thunderdome or Fury Road yet, so I'm hopping
You
off
haven't
the
seen
podcast
Fury Road?
straight to it. Yeah, I haven't.
Wow.
I hadn't seen any of them until like earlier this week. So
sheesh.
Excited.
That's crazy. Fury Road's awesome. In 2015, so I don't think they have it in the States. It's like 4DX, but instead of all the other shit, it's just the seats move.
Really?
They call it D-Box, and it is awesome. It's like being on a roller coaster. And me and my brother, day one, when Fury Road came out, went to go see it in D-Box, and it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. So I texted him, and I was like, "Are we doing Furiosa in IMAX? Or are we going in D-Box?" And he's like, "I think our first watch has to be in D-Box, and then we'll go see it in IMAX on the weekend." And I was like, "I'm so down for that." So tomorrow night, 6 p.m., we're going D-Box. The seats are going to be throwing us around. Like, you haven't seen it, but Fury Road opens, like the credits open, and it's just like a car revving, and the seats are like, and it's so good. So I'm very excited for that.
I'm excited to watch it. I'm going tomorrow in IMAX. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a 4DX theater anywhere near me. Not that I've heard of.
We have one, but I'm not particularly interested in it. We had I went to Disney when I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old, and they have the Bugs Life ride, and it's like 4DX. I don't know if you know about this, but there's a part in the show where the seats go like this and there's spiders on the screen. It's like spiders crawling up your back, and I sprinted out of the theater. So I really don't want to do 4DX. It scared the shit out of me, dude. It's terrifying. Horrific shit. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for Furiosa. I love Fury Road. I've seen it many, many times. I actually haven't seen any of the originals. I think I saw Road Warrior when I was a kid. And my dad showed it to me.
The first one's just a super gritty 70s action movie. The second one, I don't even know what it is. And Beyond Thunderdome has Tina Turner as a lead actress with Mel Gibson. So it's sort of a do with that what you will. But yeah, I don't know. They're very entertaining.
Hey, this is Trey. I'm joining the podcast real quick. I think Evan.
Oh, we're back. Sorry.
We're back. They're back. Oh, now Jagger's glitching out.
Oh god.
God, what is happening?
Okay, now
this is a whole mess. We're keeping this in, by the way. This is hilarious.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Wait, what's happening?
We're keeping this in.
I lagged out.
Evan lagged out, and Jagger, now you're lagging out.
We're good.
Oh boy. This is
the
this
location
is something
change.
else. Yeah.
Trey, are you really quick before you go? Are you seeing Furiosa this week?
I'm not, dude. I gotta work. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I might. When does it come out?
Tomorrow night.
I might go see it on Monday. I have Monday off since it's Memorial Day. Evan, that's an American holiday.
Yeah, well, we had Veterans
Boxing Day.
It's a May long week. Oh, fuck off.
We celebrate boxing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's not just us.
All right, whatever, weirdo. All right, yeah, I just came in to help facilitate their mutual lagging outs. But I'm going to go because I don't feel good. You guys freaking kill it.
Yeah, Furiosa is going to be sick. I can't wait for... we'll talk about it on Friday or Saturday whenever we record that episode. That's going to be sick, so stay tuned for that. I was looking through your letterbox because the one thing I want to talk about from Con is Anora, the new Sean Baker movie from the guy who made The Florida Project and Red Rocket.
Ooh.
And it is getting astounding reviews. It is the highest rated film across critics because they have this like sheet of all the major like reporters reviews, and it is clearing. It's the highest rated film so far. I think it's a 3.4 out of 4 so far. It's the highest rated film. So that's awesome. And I'm really, really excited about that. I love the Florida Project. You haven't seen it, eh?
I love the Florida Project, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome.
I'm hearing about this one movie a lot from Cannes with Demi Moore.
Yes, The Substance, dude. Oh my god, I cannot wait. I don't know what this movie's about because there's literally not even a plot on IMDb. Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore, apparently it is insanely fucked up and super gory and crazy. Dude, that movie looks sick. Or it sounds sick.
The headline I heard was 14-minute standing ovation for movie where Demi Moore fights naked woman.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Something. I mean, cool poster.
Yeah. Yeah, The Substance. It's crazy because in the new Cronenberg movie premiered yesterday too. Apparently, it's really weird. Yeah, The Shrouds. And it's super divisive. Like all his movies that are premiered of Cannes are all really divisive. So this one is following that trend. I'm super down. I like David Cronenberg a lot. So yeah, I'll be watching that. Like Crimes of the Future, I really enjoyed, and like all his old stuff too. But Yeah, so Khan has been sick this year. I'm super excited for like a lot of these movies.
Oh my god. And this alone has sold me.
Oh my god.
All I care about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The fact that everyone's like, yeah, Kinds of Kindness is like Yorgos going back to his old Dogtooth style movies is like give it to me now, because that's the Yorgos I love. I love the weird ass robotic dialogue so much. I love the awkward every single person interacts like they've never talked to a human before. That's like my favorite thing that he does. So I'm really excited for that.
Poor Things is still the only Yorgos I've seen.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, just start at Dogtooth and go through.
Start at Dogtooth and go.
Okay. He has a couple short films that are in Greek. I haven't seen them, but yeah. Killing a Sacred Deer is my favorite. They're like tied. That and Poor Things. I've seen Killing a Sacred Deer was my favorite movie of all time for like a lot of years. A lot of years. I've seen it like 10, 15 times.
Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, it's peak. It's really cool. Don't read into it too much before you watch it, because it's best watched when you don't know what's going on. And I think that's one of the reasons I loved it so much, is I went to the theaters to go see it and I hadn't even seen the trailers for it, and it blew me away. Yeah, you want to bust through the watch list? What have you been watching?
So I'll start from the 15th, since I don't have that much stuff, but I'll start on the 15th. I rewatched The Zone of Interest because it popped up on my Max page.
Yeah.
Enjoyed my entire day. Watched that on vacation. That was a move.
That's crazy.
I'll just knock out The Mystery of the Seeing Hand. It was a 2020 David Lynch short where a hand pops up and I pop out the hand, and that's it.
I haven't seen any of David Lynch's short films. He's got so many.
Any sense, and there's so many. I mean, he just sort of sits and uploads shorts to YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, he spent like a year and a half just doing the Daily Weather channel. It's crazy, but awesome. I love that so much.
So I'll just bang through the rest of them, and
just go through it, and I'll do mine.
Captain America: Civil War. Oh yeah, Zone of Interest 5 stars. Completely forgot to do that, and my computer just crashed. Let me see if I can do it on here.
His camera cut out, but that's okay. This is the scuffed episode. We're fucked without Trey.
Okay, I'm just gonna see how many of them I can memorize.
How about I'll read them to you off your diary, because I have it on my phone here.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, give me 1 sec. Just gonna pull up. Okay, here we go.
Start from Captain America: Civil War, 5 stars.
Yeah. Oh, 5 stars, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in forever. Okay. You watch Challengers again.
Not shocking. I had an alarm set for 11:59.
That's awesome.
Good move by me.
That's cool shit. And then you watched Impractical Jokers Hollywood. Is this a like TV special or like a movie? Oh no, it's an episode. Yeah,
it's an episode.
I love that show, dude.
That was good.
Nice. And then guess what? You watched Challengers again.
Oh, what a shocker!
Oh shit. Okay, I actually want to talk to you about this. Okay, so you watched The Strangers, the original, and then Chapter 1 right after.
Yeah.
So I am with you that the original Strangers is fine.
Yeah.
Have you seen the second one, Pray at Night?
No.
Some people. Good? It has a really weird cult following, and I don't quite understand why. Because, I mean, you might really enjoy it. It's not a super good movie, and the cast is really small, so there's not like a lot of kills. But it has this one scene in the third act in like a neon lit pool, and it's awesome. But the characters are painfully stupid, and it really annoyed me.
I gotta join in. The Strangers. What's it? The second
Pray
one
at
called?
Night.
Pray at Night. that movie bangs.
Yeah,
that movie's
awesome.
awesome.
I'm talking. I don't like that movie at all.
I love that movie so much better than the first one. Oh, that movie is so fun. All right, I'm gonna go now, but I just had to glaze Strangers Pray at Night.
And then I watched Strangers Chapter 1. That's exactly the point you were just making. The characters are so annoying that people were yelling at the screen in the theater.
That's crazy.
Where it was just like, don't do that. I mean, you can do anything, just not that. And that's really all that movie is. It's just characters being stupid. It's a lot of fun. But the movie sucks. So I gave.
Does the movie take itself seriously?
God, no.
Okay, so the Strangers Pray at Night takes itself really seriously, and I like when characters are stupid in a horror movie when the movie doesn't take itself seriously, because then it's really funny. But when they take itself seriously and the tone is super dark, then it's like, holy shit, like, oh my god, this is painful to watch. I can't stand it. But then when I'm watching like cheesy Halloween 5 or whatever, it's really funny. I'll probably watch it when it comes out. Man, the trailer was shockingly good for Strangers Chapter 1, though. I went to go see Immaculate, and I looked over at my girlfriend. I was like, oh shit, that looks like kind of good. And I'm not a big Strangers fan.
Yeah, I mean, it felt so fast paced as well. Like that movie started and stopped in 30 minutes. But I don't know, it's 90 minutes. It's a lot of fun, and that's all it really needed to be.
Yeah. I'll probably check it out.
Then I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion, the show.
Yeah.
I've been watching it for, I don't know, maybe a week. Honest to God, in the span of 45 seconds, that show went from like super sort of stupid, horny show to deep existentialism, like really horrific expression analysis. Oh my god, I can't speak today. But yeah, really, really brilliant show.
Yeah. I've been debating checking it out because I've been going through the Letterboxd Top 250 and the movie is on there.
There's a couple of the movies on there.
Yeah, and it means I need to watch the show, which is fine. It's just I'm not a huge anime fan, so I have to like dedicate, whatever, a couple days to bust through it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't like anime either. I really, really tried before. Yeah. Incredible.
That's good to know. Yeah, one of the video game podcasts I listened to, they compared it a lot. I don't know if you've played it, but the remake of Final Fantasy VII gets really fucking weird and like super convoluted and existential and crazy. And they were like, this is what the creator of Evangelion did with his movies and his shows. I was like, oh, okay, I'm down. So I will be checking that out at some point.
Yeah, totally worth it. And then in another shock review from me, I watched Saltburn again, making this. I know I didn't. 18 Saltburn watches.
Heck yeah. Respect it.
Well, I'm going to skip over the next one. We'll talk about that separately.
Yeah, I can guess what it is. We'll talk about that later.
About that a little later. Then Blah Airlines, Flight 101.
Yeah, what the fuck is this and how did you find this?
Okay, so
I don't know if you saw this train, if you're listening, but Jagger watched a 6-hour movie about a bunch of mannequins on an airplane.
Okay. To sort of explain it, to make it make any sense at all, Virgin Airlines had two dudes, I think. Yeah, two dudes that wanted to make a movie that worked at their company. So they gave them a plane to work with. They recreate a 5-hour and 45-minute flight and all of the anxieties of being on a plane. A child screaming for like 30-minute increments. People eating next to you loudly.
Oh my god.
Headphones, listening to jazz music, looking out the window, but still hearing everything else going on around you. And it is 5 hours and 45 minutes of an auditory nightmare. And that's all it is. And then they land, and that's the movie. That's it.
I pulled up your Letterboxd and I read the description, and then I searched it on YouTube, and I fast forwarded to like halfway through, and I just saw mannequins. And I was like, what the hell is going on? But you describing it, it sounds kind of really entertaining. I kind of want to watch it, dude. I kind of want to watch it.
It's so absurd because I was just like reading reviews of people I follow, and one guy wrote Bellatar wishes, and
I saw that review.
What could that be? And Jay's super nice guy, and him describing it, and he says, just try and sit through that barbecue rib scene without running for your life from the vicinity. I was like, oh, I kind of gotta watch that now because something with horror and barbecue ribs sounds great. So I find it on YouTube and it's 6 hours long, and I'm like, this has got to be a joke. So I sit down on a couch and I watch 3 hours of it, and then I pause it, and then the next day I come back to it. I watch the next 3 hours, and I must say, it's truly something to be admired. It's a real nightmare of a film, but it's so absurd. You just got to check it out.
I actually want to watch it, and I hate that I want to. It sounds fucking insane.
Watch the first 2 hours and then determine.
Yeah. Well, I'll watch the first 2 hours and then figure it out. That's crazy. That's a crazy endorsement, but I will. I'll do it. I got a lot of free time.
Yeah, then I watched Mad Max 2. Mad Max 2 was good. I gave it 4.5 stars because it's just everything you need in an action movie. It's simple. And then I watched Gone Girl, which we'll talk about also later. But you go through yours, and then we'll talk a little bit about the movie I skipped over.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yeah. I watched Underwater with Kristen Stewart. It's a Cthulhu type monster horror movie set in underwater substation. Really cool. Great
Another
visuals.
movie that rips.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a really cool movie, Trey. Really cool.
Cassell.
Yeah, Underwater's really cool. The visuals are great. It's super tense. Kristen Stewart, she's doing a Ripley cosplay, run around her underwear. Really good stuff. Cool movie. Really recommend it. And the last half hour is really crazy. Yeah, it's cool. Then I did a double feature of our 2 movies for today, which we'll talk about later. And then the next day, I rewatched movie 43 for some reason. While I did some cooking. I hate this movie. It's shit.
Way underrated. I have that at 2.5 stars.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had another person call me out for saying it's underrated. I think it was. Hold on, I don't know if he listens to the podcast. Let me shout him out really quick. He took his review down. Oh, it was Josh. Yeah, shout out Josh K. You're ill. This movie sucks. And then I did the double feature of the century and watched Shrek 2 and Dune 2 back to back. Holy shit, bro. What a time. That was crazy.
Oh my god.
It was so much fun. I was like, I had a really bad day at work and it was super stressful and people were yelling at me. And I was like, I need to watch something wholesome. So I was like, I'm going to watch Shrek 2. Watch Shrek 2. It's classic. One of the best animated movies of all time. Yep, it's peak. And I had picked up the Dune 2 4K last week and I hadn't watched it yet. And I was like, shit, man, maybe I should watch Dune 2. So I watched Dune 2 and man, dude, when I saw it in theaters, the pacing, I felt the pacing. I'm not going to lie. It's not a bad thing, but I felt the runtime. On rewatch, I did not feel the runtime. This movie blazed by. Oh, it's so good. It's so entertaining. The score is crazy. It looks insane on 4K. I mean, it's not theater IMAX quality, but it looks really good on 4K. Very glad that I own it now.
Yeah, I picked up the 4K of Dune and the 21 Dune and Dune 2 sort of in one order. And what I have been waiting to hear is, does it look good? Because I'm going to do that double feature at some point in the next week or 2.
Yeah, I really want to get the Dune 1 4K because Caladan and like Gidi Prime and I can't remember the Sardaukar planet, but like those places look so good in Dune 1 and I want the 4K because the Blu-ray already looks insane. But yeah, Dune 2, the 4K looks amazing. The worm riding scene, the stuff with the arena and Fade and Lady Fenrir, it looks nuts. Oh, it's so good. I love Austin Butler in this movie so much. He's so entertaining. He's so weird and funny, weirdly funny. Yeah, Dune 2 is just it's peak.
Yeah.
Recently dethroned in 2024 by a movie we're going to talk about pretty soon because I just got a couple more to talk about. Got home from work today, watched The Conjuring 2 again while I made some bread. I've seen it a million times, you know, like it's one of those movies where when you first see it, like, oh yeah, you gotta lock in, but I've seen it like 5 or 6 times, like, you know, and it's just a good movie. So like I can throw it on.
Yeah.
And it's got a few scenes that I love, like the interview scenes with the daughter are super creepy. The painting scene with Lorraine, terrifying. Oh, it's so good. I love Conjuring 2. The vibes are immaculate. It's got that like UK rainy vibe to it, so it's already like more creepy than just like rural suburban shit.
That's fair.
Yeah, I love Conjuring 2. I think the first one is a better movie, but I think the second one has better scares.
That's fair.
Because
Yeah.
the second one has more characters and you just like don't care as much, but the first one has like the basement scene in the first one when they do the exorcism and he's got the sheet over his head and the blood is spurting through the sheet scared the shit out of me. I remember this so clearly. I I I was living at home. I was younger when Conjuring 1 came out, and I said to my brother, I was like, let's go to the movies. He's like, what do you want to see? I was like, I want to see The Conjuring. He goes, I want to see Pacific Rim. I said, fuck that. We're going to see The Conjuring. And I don't know if you recall, but The Conjuring 1 opens with a shot of Annabelle full screen. And he looks at me dead in the eyes and he goes, we should have saw Pacific Rim. It was so funny. I have fond memories of watching that in the theaters. Yeah, I love The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. Great stuff. And then I was in a horror mood. You know, I've been reading about David Cronenberg and all these trippy ass weird horror movies coming out of con. So, and Civil War comes out on Friday on to rent and stuff, and I'm excited to watch that again. So I rewatched Men, which I saw in the theaters originally, and I really enjoyed it. And people hate this movie. All my mutuals hate this movie, and I don't quite understand why. So I rewatched it, and it didn't quite live up. When I first saw it in theaters, I gave it a 4. I rewatched it today. I gave it a 3.5. Have you seen it?
Man.
Yeah.
See, I love Ex Machina and I love Civil War. I just haven't gotten around to Men or an I.
Yeah.
But I've heard
Men is visually one of A24's best movies. It is absolutely stunning. The landscapes are incredible. The gore in the third act of the movie is nuts. It's so good. The big issue I have with this movie is that its message about the patriarchy and men and gaslighting and that stuff is so ham-fisted and in your face, and like this, and it shoves it down your throat to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. Like, this is a good message, but you're forcing it to me, and it kind of takes away a bit, but the performances are great. It is super creepy and eerie. I loved it in the theaters. It's a great theater experience. But I don't get why people hate this movie. I have mutuals giving this half a star, 1 star.
Wait, do they really? I thought everyone loved it.
No, people don't like Men. Let me go to Men and read my mutual scores, because I seriously don't understand it. Okay, so we got 2 stars, 1.5, 1.5, 2 stars, 1. Like, you see this? This is crazy. I don't get it. It's all below 2 stars. So I had to rewatch it because I was like, was it a theater bias? But no, I genuinely enjoy this movie. It is super cool. Yeah, and the score is really good too. The score is really cool. So I'm glad I rewatched it because yeah, Alex Garland, he hasn't missed. He's a cool guy. He makes good movies. Yeah, I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, I gotta check that one out for sure. I think it's on Paramount Plus or
Yeah, I watched it on Prime. But I know Canada and the US have different stuff, but check Prime. Shall we talk about the TV glowing?
Yeah, I'm kind of...
I would love for you to kick this off.
You want me to kick it off?
I would love for you to, because we haven't talked about it in person. We just talked about it for a couple minutes over chats. I want you to run me through your theater experience, and then we can kind of dive into the themes a bit more after.
So, God, I feel like I'm really gonna screw this up.
Dude, this movie is hard to talk about because it's like overwhelming.
It's overwhelming and it hits home. So, I'm just gonna quickly first talk about theater stuff, like my experience in the theater, and then I'll get to more of what the movie means so much to me.
Yeah, we can talk about that after.
Yeah, so as far as theater experience goes, I sort of sat down to for this expecting it, because I really tried to avoid as many reviews as possible, except when
me too.
it came up and it said like spoiler free, I would watch it. And a lot of people were saying either absolutely terrifying, and one guy said it caused me so much dread that I was shaking and sobbing the whole time.
Yeah, like George on Real Talk, he said it's one of the scariest movies he's ever seen. And first watch, right when he left the theater, he put it at number 1 on his A24 ranking, above Aftersun.
Okay, I do agree with it being above Aftersun, but I want to explain for a second.
Yeah.
I expected sort of like... I knew it was going to be similar to We're All Going to the World's Fair, and I loved We're All Going to the World's Fair. And I knew it was going to be sort of weird, but I was expecting it to sort of fall down a similar vein to, like, I don't know, Hereditary.
Yeah.
So when I went into it, and as it slowly started to pass, I found myself crying a lot for a reason that I myself could not understand. And I felt like all of the movie, like I felt it right here for so much of it. And then I just started to cry. And for a good quarter of this movie, I was just sitting, sort of leaning in my chair like this, which usually I'm leaning back.
Yeah.
Just bawling my eyes out.
Was this in the first half or the second half?
In the middle and then in the second half. In the first half, up a little bit for certain things, but the second half I was just bawling.
Yeah, we'll keep it spoiler free for a little bit, and then we'll do spoilers after.
Okay. And as far as horror goes, there's only maybe 2 parts with Mr. Melancholy that were sort of freaky, and that was it.
Yeah, it's weird. I think this movie is arguably... okay, I mean, horror is subjective. It's one of the hardest genres to nail down. I have endless debates with people in the Real Talk Discord about whether Get Out is a horror movie, and it's tiring. I think this movie is very disturbing and very heartache. Like, it breaks your heart, and it has very creepy moments that you brought up with Mr. Melancholy.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is a horror movie. I think We're All Going to the World's Fair is way more of a horror movie than this is. Like, We're All Going to the World's Fair has that one scene where the guy, I can't remember his name, but he sends her the video, and it's like, you're in trouble. Like, you're not safe.
Yeah, and also records herself sleeping, and then she turns...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is way less of a straight horror.
This is a coming of age movie. I was we got out of the movie, and I was talking to some people, and I was like, this isn't a horror movie. And somebody was like, well, why does Letterboxd have horror listed as the #1 genre? And I could not believe that. That's crazy.
I think someone went on TMDb and shifted it so the drama's the #1.
That's good.
Thing. Yeah, they shifted it to drama.
Okay, good.
Because honestly, if this movie was not marketed as a horror, I don't think anyone would say it is. Honestly.
I didn't see the trailer for this movie. I just saw it was the social media that pushed me to go see this. I knew we were all going to the World's Fair. I hadn't seen it. I watched it like an hour before I went to go see this, so I did like a pure double feature, which was awesome. But yeah, I hadn't seen any trailers. I read the synopsis, and it's like this guy gets shown a TV show, and the TV show gets canceled. And I was like, oh, that's all I know. Cool. Which I already think is kind of a spoiler, because the TV show doesn't get canceled till like halfway through the movie.
And then when the show does get canceled, it's put in the same sentence as the driving point of the whole rest of the film.
Yeah.
So I think that putting that in any kind of synopsis is a spoiler in and of itself.
Yeah, this movie should just not have a synopsis. It's like, oh yeah, two people become friends and watch TV together. That's good enough.
Yeah. I mean, what to say about this movie? I genuinely don't know. For those of you out there that have seen this movie and want the perfect review of it, look at the review by Nathan Spencer. It is one of the most riveting reviews I've ever seen on Letterboxd. But I think we should just sort of talk about the movie as what it is. So, spoiler warning now.
Yeah. Skip forward
Trey.
10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes is probably fine. Okay, so now that we're able to talk spoilers, realistically, what this movie is an incredibly haunting portrayal of mental health, identity, but that's all.
Gender dysphoria.
Gender dysphoria. It's just, that's all been said before. And what's been said before does not even cut the tip of the iceberg. I heard in a Q&A with the director where they said that in the one part where the light pole is down and it's sort of zapping the pages.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to digital, they said to pause the movie there and read everything that page said. It explains the movie.
Dude, I need this movie on digital now so I can watch it and slow it down.
Oh man. And it's a very personal movie to everyone, realistically, and other.
Yeah, it's odd because like this movie is very personal to the director, who's a trans person.
Yeah.
And you can see it. There are trans metaphors everywhere in this movie. One of the first shots of the movie is Owen standing in one of those school parachutes, and it's pink, blue, white, the trans flag colors, and he's just like taking it all in. And one of my favorite shots in the movie, it is such a cool to me. I was talking with a few other people who had seen this movie, and it's right after they watched the Pink Opaque for the first time, and he's at the carnival with his parents, and he is so exhilarated by the show, and he's sitting there holding cotton candy, and it's blue, and he spits on it, and it dissolves. And to me, it was like, he's like, fuck this masculinity shit, I'm gonna dissolve it because the blue cotton candy dissolves. And to me, in my brain, I was like, Owen is dissolving this pure idea of masculinity and starting to explore who he could be as an individual. And
I didn't even pick up, but it makes
sense. Dude, it's such a cool scene. You have to, that's why this movie, I really need to watch it again, because I was so locked in on Owen as a character that Maddie's entire storyline that dives deeper blew straight over my head. And I'm like, I need to go back, because like the football scene, which we'll talk about later because it's at the end, but like, what does it mean for Maddie as a person? But the one thing that one of the guys, Cash, who, I mean, we shout him out every week, shout out Cash and shout out the Film Scoop, we love them. He brought up to me the first time they watched the Pink Opaque, the ice cream man scene.
Yeah.
There's the shot of the ice cream truck and it's green. And another guy, Alex, who is the one that introduced Jeff Profit to us, he's got a phenomenal eye for film and he makes a lot of great short films. He said to us, because we were talking about the blue and the pink and the trans metaphors through the colors, said, what does the green mean? Because there's green everywhere in this movie. And it didn't stand out to me because I was looking for the blue and the pink. And so Cash he watched it the next day. He watched it back to back. And he was looking through some of the pride flags, and green is part of the non-binary flag. So he was like, well, what if the non-binary imagery is kind of the first inclination to gender doesn't have to be this set in stone thing? And that cuts straight into him dissolving the blue. And it's so crazy to think that that is a very possible explanation for a green ice cream truck. Like, this movie does not fucking handhold you. There is it leaves you to just think about it, and like, it's so crazy.
Oh my god, the second this movie comes to digital, I'm gonna watch it over and over.
Yeah. My girlfriend was like, yeah, I'm hanging out with my girlfriends on Saturday. And I immediately, because I saw the TV Go is only playing in one theater, and it's like a retro theater in my city. And I immediately went to the website and I was like, what time is it playing on Saturday night? Like, I'm going to go again because I need to see it again. Because, yeah, this movie really does not hold your hand. And there's so much imagery to dive into and so much to talk about. This is, and we were talking about this, you and me. You said this isn't a movie, it's an experience. And I was like, well, yeah, like George said, this is a conversation starter because this movie there's just so much to talk about. And like, all the stuff we've talked about is in the first, 15-20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
It's also, like, we need to shout out how entertaining the pink opaque scenes are to watch. I don't know if you've seen Twin Peaks, but this movie, and especially the pink opaque scenes, give off heavy Twin Peaks vibes. Like, there is clear inspiration from the Twin Peaks mysteries, and I love it so much. And it's that super goofy, over the top mystery they're trying to do. Like, every time the show came on, I was like, hell yeah.
I mean, the thing that I noticed that made all of it really click for me I noticed Twin Peaks inspiration pretty early on. Because I'm a huge fan of the Twin Peaks show and the movie.
Heck yeah. We'll
So
get Trey to watch Twin Peaks. We'll do a Twin Peaks episode.
Gladly.
I've been trying.
But a couple of scenes really stuck out that I want to talk about, because sitting day after day after having watched this movie, just trying to figure things out. The scene where he goes back and watches it later in life, like this stupid show, that I was able to sort of like click together, like, oh, that's normal. The scene where he has his head in the television,
fuck, dude.
What do you think?
What a brutal. Yeah. Okay. So this scene on first watch, my brain was not working because it is a insanely visceral scene that is so raw, and it cuts to his dad shoving him into a tub with what I thought, people hadn't really brought this up, but to me it looked like scalding water. It looked like really hot water to me when he was in the shower.
Yeah.
And he starts to like shoot the blue sparks out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And so dude, it's so hard to collect your thoughts thinking about this movie because there's just so much going on. But like, and one thing I really want to bring up really quick is that Tyler on the Real Talk podcast was bringing up that, or maybe it was George. Yeah, George was bringing up that seeing the TV glow is kind of a metaphor for seeing your inner self. And when he watches the pink opaque, which, I mean, it's revealed that like he's watching himself, or what he wants to be. He wants to be that, he wants to be Isabel. who knows if it really happened that way, but like he is thirsting so bad that watching the show and watching Isabel as a character, and he's so distraught in that moment that he just needs to be inside. Because I mean, Maddie talks about being inside Pink Opaque for what?
10 years.
What was it? 10 years?
Yeah.
So maybe he gets to that breaking point where it's not, oh, I need to be buried alive, because that's what Maddie says needs to be done. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna fucking jump inside the TV because that's all that can be done. Because I'm so insufferable and tired of living my own life in the way it is now. So that's kind of how I saw it, where he's just at this breaking point where that's all he can do is to connect to the show, and it's brutal. It's heartbreaking.
That makes my interpretation of it look real stupid now.
Yeah, well, give it back to me. Because
my interpretation of the scene was that, I mean, while they make it quite clear that a lot of his memories start to mix fact and fiction, as she explains it, sometimes the show feels more real than real life, where she meets him again in the bar. And
yeah, the bar scene is so crazy because she's like, well, what do you really remember about the Pink Opaque? And you're starting to go, oh,
I don't know.
Owen's not a reliable narrator. Sorry, and keep going.
So I think that a lot of this movie is from his point of view and his distorted vision of everything. Because clearly the guy does not actually have a family. You know, all that stuff.
This is a thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, we need to sidetrack for this really quick.
Okay.
So there's that scene, and it is so corny, not in a bad way, but it is that, the end of the movie, the happy, oh, I got a new TV, I kept the house, I've even got a family now. And Owen is not a reliable narrator. And I was talking about it with people, and we were like, well, what the fuck what does a family mean? He doesn't show it. And I had 3 thoughts. My first thought was, oh, he got a bunch of cats. And I was like, that's stupid. And then I had 2 thoughts kind of going back and forth. My first thought was that was quickly dissipated was, okay, he has a family. He has come out. He is part of the LGBT community.
Yeah, that's possible.
So that was something that was kind of going through my head because for some reason, and I want to talk about it at the end again, I kept trying to spin this as Owen having a happy ending, and it was like pure denial in my head of like, how do you make this poor kid, not suffer so much? And then the third one was, yeah, Owen is lying to you. He's not a reliable narrator. They break the fourth wall a lot in this movie, and it's awesome. But he clearly is going through a lot of delusion in this movie, and a lot of that scene probably was not accurate to how the real life was, because a lot of the movie, or a lot of his experiences in life, are not accurate to what we're seeing until you really see it at the end, or when he's watching the season 6 or the finale, whatever. Like, to me, that scene was, Owen is such an unreliable narrator and so lost in his own dysphoria of life and gender and all that it's like, oh yeah, let me sell this as and it goes back to the Pink Opaque that we see not being accurate to the real TV show, right?
Yeah.
That he's spinning it as that sitcom-y type thing, because that scene totally feels something out of like wrapping up a sitcom or wrapping up a wholesome movie. Such a cool scene that like I didn't really think about, and then we were yapping about it like a couple days later, and we're like, oh shit, what does this mean?
Yeah, I think after everything happens with Maddie and the burning TV set, if it even went that way, I think he completely lost his mind.
Yeah.
And the whole rest of the movie is his vision through the lens of the Pink Opaque.
Yeah.
Where everything's horror and scary. Like that scene where he sees Maddie in the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's a really creepy scene.
Yeah. Dude, I swear she was standing like not human-like. She was standing so weird when you first see her.
It was so uncanny valley.
Yeah, it was super uncanny valley, and then he just goes up to her normally, and it's like, oh, what the what the hell is going on? And I feel like they don't mention it.
There's no one else in the grocery store.
Yeah.
The television. There's the one part where he spits out the blue stuff. And the sparks as well in that other scene. But I think that when he has his head in the television screen, it's not has his head in the actual television screen. It's that the TV's gotten entirely into his head. Sort of an inverse. And his dad trying to pull him out of it and then trying to wash him of it makes sense in my head. Of the shower and all of it, where it's his dad trying to wash him of the transgender, non-binary, whatever it may be.
And even like in the beginning of the movie, he asks, "Oh, can I stay up late to watch The Pink Opaque?" And his dad is like, "Isn't that a TV show for girls?"
Which Fred Durst's performance in this,
dude, it's crazy. It's so good.
But you liked it?
Oh yeah, it's creepy as shit. There's that shot of him sitting in front of the TV with it flashing on him. Super creepy.
But I think that made sense in my head. And I think that there's a lot of that. It's a lot of quite literally take this, say it out loud, and then it shifts meaning entirely.
Yeah.
He has that in the television, and then his dad tries to wash him of it. It makes sense in that way. And then you can take it and break it down so much further. But to quickly go on a little bit of a tangent. This movie really hit very hard for me personally. To take almost words from Nathan that made I'm trying to say this in a way that's not like, oh, woe is me. To sort of shape it up, I never had the easiest time making friends. Only have ever really had a few that I've sort of stayed with for a while. Going into high school, different school, whatnot. It's a thing. And I've always had weird interests, the whole film thing. Not have had the easiest time finding a space. And that idea in this movie made it really hit home for a lot of people. I've read a lot of different reviews of people saying similar things. But the thing is that while clearly for the director, this movie has a lot of LGBTQ meanings behind it, it can be taken in so many ways.
Absolutely.
This film is a true defining point of what film can do as an art, where it has one meaning behind it when made and hits so many other meanings on its way down. So this movie hit really hard for me. I was, like I said, crying through a good bit of it. And I was really just trying to piece parts of it together as I went, because I was really, really distracted.
Yeah.
Other stuff instead of focusing on the metaphors and the meanings and whatnot. But above all else, I just want to give sort of congratulations. We can still break down other scenes of it, but if in any way this reaches anyone that hasn't seen this movie yet, doesn't know this movie exists, for God's sake, if it reaches the director, this movie is a true defining point of what the art of film can do with its meanings. And my God, this film's a masterpiece. It can be. I've seen half-star reviews a lot. I've seen a lot of different reviews. The rating curve on this movie is it's with a lot of half-star ratings, and it goes up for her, but this is not going to hit for everybody.
Yeah.
But you can't deny that this movie hits on so many points.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to cut you off on your thing, so if you want to keep going.
No, take it.
First off, I totally agree on this movie hits about gender and identity for those people, but it hits on identity for us. Like, okay, I want to tell a little story.
Yeah.
I started dating my girlfriend. She was really sad one day. She's like, "Let me paint your nails." I said, "Hell yeah, you can paint my nails." She painted my nails. I was like, "This is cool." So I started painting my nails. I don't paint them anymore because I work as a baker and I can't. I
Yeah.
wish I could, but I can't. Like for the Barbenheimer premiere, we painted them blue and pink so we had Barbie nails, and all my high school friends were like, "You're fucking gay. That's gay as shit to paint your nails." And I was like, "Ah, okay, well, like that. This is kind of what I enjoy as like an individual, so that feels like shit to hear." And that was something that kind of clicked for me, was the struggle to find your identity and like get a little gushy. Like meeting my girlfriend, she really brought out a lot of like cool shit in me, and where it's like, oh yeah, I'm crying at music and crying at movies, and we watched The Princess and the Frog together and I'm fucking sobbing my heart out, and painting my nails, and we're watching 16 Barbie animated movies and I'm having a blast doing it. And it's like the discovery for identity, it hits every single human. You can suppress it all you want and be like, well, I'm a rigid man or whatever. But like, it's something everyone feels. And this movie will fucking hit you no matter what, because that's a universal experience. And this movie is so raw in its emotion that, yeah, like you said, like you have your interests and they're obscure and unique, and it feels very lonely, but then you see something like this and it hits so close to home, even though the movie is targeted towards, it's not sorry, not targeted's a bad word, but it was made by a trans director and it has a lot of trans and LGBTQ imagery and symbolism in it, but the identity portions are so dead on that it just hits there, and you're like, I feel seen and I feel very sad at the same time. And it's just such an amazing feeling, because yeah, this movie kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, they'd heard of We're All Going to the World's Fair. This movie's not playing in a lot of theaters. Unfortunately, it should be.
The theaters
Because
who are playing it are getting rid of it on Thursday.
Wow.
So
yeah, because it's not playing at the chain theaters here at all, which sucks. But
it had a theatrical run of less than a week, and it should be on streaming in like 2 weeks.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Like, first off, this movie, we haven't talked about it, but visually, it looks insane. The color palette is gorgeous. The score, the soundtrack, the score by Alex G and the soundtrack is insane. I don't know if you know this, but Jane Schoenbrun reached out to a bunch of her favorite band or their favorite bands and was like, "Do you want to make a song for my movie?" And that's how the score got made, or the soundtrack got made. It was just people writing songs for the movie because they like the director, and that's so cool. And every needle drop in this movie feels so organic. Like, yes, the movie has so much narrative wise, but the technical aspects are sick. I sent this picture to Jagger right after he watched it of,
oh my god,
there is a scene of Owen walking down a road and it is right about sunset, and the bottom half of the screen is chalk colored, colored in road, not sidewalk, road. It says there is still time, there's ghosts. It's beautiful. And the other half of the road is completely blank, and it is an dude, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. It's such a good shot. Oh my god. If this movie is playing near you, go watch it. in theaters. Pay money to go watch this because first off, the director deserves it, but it looks insane in theaters. And shout out to Alan, resident Malignant hater. We love you, but also we hate you because he gave this a 2-star, 2.5 stars, and he said it was boring. He said it was boring.
It's a lot of things. You can say
this movie is not boring. It's not boring. Even if you don't connect with the messages, this is an entertaining movie to watch. It has a lot of juice, and we didn't talk about the one scene. Actually no, it wasn't him, but when Owen, it's so funny. It's right after the bleacher scene. He goes, after that first time we watched the Pink Opaque, I was too scared to say even more than 3 words to Maddie, and it cuts into Maddie recording the tapes and giving them to him in the camera room, like the photo development room at the high school. And there's pink writing all over the screen. There's a really catchy, fun song. The juice is off the charts. It's such an entertaining scene.
What's the name of that song? It's called like Star Kissed and Unburned or something like that. Amazing song. This soundtrack is on vinyl.
Starburned and Unkissed. Damn, you're so close.
It's on vinyl on the A24 shop.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I need to buy that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, every needle drop in this movie hits so hard, and yes, the messages are so good, but the visuals are insane. We need to talk about the close-ups on Mr. Melancholy's face because they're fucking terrifying. The way his face is morphing and popping, it's so creepy, dude. Oh my god. Like, the theater I saw this in is not a very fancy theater. The screen's not too big. I would kill to see this in a fancy theater because that scene is so cool visually. And he opens his mouth and it's just a pitch black pit. Terrifying. Oh, it's so creepy.
That part where he gives her the poison and that whole thing, terrifying. Yeah. What about the shot where they're sitting in the psychic plane and he's up in the sky?
Oh
my god. Here, wait,
so
give me one.
Good. Yeah, well, it took a little break there. We've made an executive decision. We're going to postpone because it's late and I'm sleepy and I got work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're going to postpone On the Waterfront and Gone Girl to Friday's episode before Jeff Profit. So you're getting a quintuple feature on Friday, which is going to be crazy shit. Unfortunately, Gone Girl overshadowed by 10 kilos in the trunk. Very tragic. Very, very tragic. But yeah, because I mean, me and Jagger still haven't even talked about the ending of this movie, and we got to talk about Owen aging 60 years in one scene. And
yeah, we apologize for not making our review of I Saw the TV Glow 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah,
got a little sidetracked.
It's that good. It's that good. And when Trey watches it, I asked him, he didn't even mute his headphones. He's like, I don't care. He said, I'm even more excited to watch it. He's like, I can't. So,
quick side divot.
Yeah.
What do you think Trey's gonna rate this movie?
Oh, I think he's gonna rate it a 5. Dude, he gave We're All Going to the World's Fair a 5, which is crazy because this is a way better movie than that.
This is either for him. No, this is a 5. Yeah, this is a 5.
I think this is number 2 of the year for him, below Dune.
You think this goes below Dune? I think I also have this below Dune, but not. I have this below Sasquatch Sunset in a weird.
Yeah.
Watch it.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I watched Dune 2 today, and I think I'm gonna go see it. I Saw the TV Go on Saturday, so then I will have my official Dune 2 I Saw the TV Glow ranking. I mean, shit, maybe Furiosa's gonna go in there, hopefully, and I'll have a top 3 that's just unbeatable.
I thought the movie was gonna take Challengers this year. It was gonna be this one, and since this didn't take Challengers, and neither did Love Lies Bleeding, Challengers takes it for the year. I don't see anything past.
Maybe what about Megalopolis?
Oh,
Kinds
God.
of Kindness.
Kinds of
Dude, I feel like you're gonna love Megalopolis. You love the weird, corny shit. I've seen people compare it to The Room. It's Francis Ford Coppola's The Room, apparently. on $100 million budget. So
Father can make a movie as brilliant as Tommy Wiseau's The Room,
yeah.
which Godfather doesn't even touch. But if he makes something half as brilliant as The Room, then anything can happen in film. That's just how that works.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be a really fun episode to talk about that movie. But yeah, so again, the football field scene, Maddie trying to get Owen to bury himself. This scene, I was so overwhelmed and my brain was racing a million miles a minute. I don't have a lot to say about that scene. It's a crazy fucking scene, and I'm hoping that on rewatch, kind of having a better perspective of the film and the themes, that I can, pay more attention to Maddie, because her character really, it was, to me, it was never, and this was something that Tyler was saying on the Real Talk that I kind of disagreed with, that he thought that Maddie was also transitioning, and I don't think so. I think that Maddie was more about the escapism, and a big theme of We're All Going to the World's Fair is escaping loneliness through media.
Yeah.
And I love that theme. And I think this movie, like, that's another thing that this reaches out to. People have comfort movies, they have comfort music, they have comfort TV shows. People binge watch The Office. I've watched Superstore on Netflix 3 times in a row because I'm that mentally ill. We finish it, we start it again, dude. So I think that this is another thing that Jane is trying to show, is that comfort that media can bring, which is super cool that the director is showing through media. It's super cool. So to me, Maddie's character was that an extension of We're All Going to the World's Fair and the escapism of loneliness, because Maddie's like, one of the first things when Owen's there is sleep in the basement, get out before my stepdad wakes up, or he'll break my nose again. Like, Maddie's clearly not living in a good household.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if the Maddie character evolves past the escapism thing, because that's the only thing I really connected it to. I don't know. I'm curious what you think about it.
See, I totally picked up on the escapism thing, and that line did mean a lot. And having her character come back and say that she's been living in Pinko Pig,
yeah,
whatever that means, probably didn't even come back. Probably.
Yeah, it's a really interesting line. I mean, it's kind of clicking for me. I have a thought I want to spew.
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so Owen is not he's watching the fake Pinko Pig, right? Mm-hmm. Not the real one. So maybe Maddie is at that point where she's at acceptance, and being inside the TV or inside the Pinko Pig is that she wants to be Tara. I'm sorry, I don't know the actress's pronouns, but like, Maddie's character wants to be Tara, so maybe being inside the TV glowing for 8 years, 10 years, whatever it was, is that ability that Maddie achieved the acceptance. And then I kind of like doubt myself, because Maddie ends up back home and says, I never found a home, never really found what she was looking for, which is super sad. So again, I'm grappling and going back and forth on what Maddie's character was searching for and what she found in those years, because this movie has crazy time jumps.
I think I just figured it out. Like,
yeah, spit it.
In my so you know how Justice Smith only really has, or Justice Smith's character, I'm blanking on his name. Owen, yeah, that's it. You know how he really only has 3 stages to his look?
Yeah.
So young Owen, I think that whole part all really did happen.
Oh, absolutely.
It happened the way that it did. However, in Justice Smith looking like himself's time period, I think all of that was really his way of figuring out everything going on around him through the lens of the Pinko Bake. Like I said earlier, I think the whole Maddie thing was his justification for her having killed herself way earlier in the because it ends.
You think that she died when when she disappeared and the TV was in the backyard?
I think the TV was burnt.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really happened. I think they found her TV set, presumably in some condition, after her having killed herself. Way later on. And all of this is him using the pink opaque to comfort himself, like the comfort escapism idea that she pushed on him, sort of.
That's cool.
Bringing the pink opaque into his life, bringing the escapism idea into his life, being that he's transitioning, whatever it may be, bad dad. And she's like, this is an escape. You can come with me if you want to, because she comes out to him, all of that.
Dude, I fucking love that line where, sorry, they're on the bleachers and she's like, well, you know, I like girls, right? And she's like, well, do you like girls? And he's like, I don't know. She's like, do you like boys? He goes, I know that I like TV shows. That's awesome. I love that line, dude. Sorry.
I'm going to come back to that line in just a second because in the station, she says something along here. He says something along the lines of, I just said she, I apologize if I got that wrong. Justice Smith says something along the lines of, I just haven't really had the guts to look into myself and find it. I'll come back in a second. He goes on with his life now, having justified to himself, oh, it was the pink opaque. It was Mr. Melancholy that did all of it. It had to be. He killed her. She didn't. And now he justifies to the camera that he is not insane. He has a life now. He just needed to clear things up. And he has a family, whatnot. And later in life, as he's realizing that he's dying, whatever that scene really is, there at the end, he finally looks into himself. And with the first real smile on his face since the beginning of the movie, he cuts into himself, and inside of himself, he sees the television. Because he doesn't have family. He doesn't have anyone. He has his television. And he's able to survive happily with just that. He likes television shows. And that's I saw the TV glow through my week.
Okay, we'll wrap it up on this final scene. And I'm sure we'll talk about it more once Trey watches it, because I could talk about this movie for hours. Genuinely hours. I mean, this was supposed to be a 10 to 15 minute conversation, but it's been like 45 minutes, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much because it's a good movie to talk about. It's such a good movie to talk about. So I really like that idea of the comfort thing and that Maddie killed herself. That's really interesting. Something I wanted to bring up, I don't know if you noticed. I didn't notice it, but Cash noticed it. So you know the workers at the arcade movie theater thing, like the one he walks in on getting a blowjob. Those workers are in that final scene, and they're the exact same age as they were earlier, yet Justice Smith is aged. So I think that Justice looking like he's 80 years old is not real, and it's a reflection of his inner self. And so I think we talked about this a lot, is that like, he has been living buried, right? Because he gets buried alive without his heart, or Isabel does. And I mean, Tara or Maddie's calling him Isabel in that entire bar sequence, which is really cool. So he's living in this suppressed feeling. He sees the real light, and that it's just buried, right? And that's why he looks so old, yet everyone is the same age as earlier in the movie. And so we were talking about this, and I want to bring it back to me trying to make this a happy ending. And I was fighting for my life. I don't know if I'm right. It was a perspective I wanted to bring up to see what other people thought. So I had two interpretations. One that people did not agree with that I'm trying to push is that he has the freak out, right? And you noticed everyone puts their head down in that party room. Everyone puts their head down, right? So man, dude, again, it's like the thoughts are spinning a million miles an hour. It's like he starts to elicit that emotion and is freaking out. And again, he had the one time he elicits that emotion is in front of his dad, and it's chaos, and it doesn't go well. And again, if that's how it really went, who knows? But so everyone's looking away, and he's like, "Well, I'm clearly not who I need to be." So he walks over to the bathroom, cuts his chest open. He sees the TV glow, and take it back to seeing the TV glow is seeing the acceptance of yourself. So, and I'm so glad that you brought up him smiling, because everyone was shutting me down about this. But so the thing that I've been trying, that I've been sticking with, and I'm really, again, I've said it so many times, I'm so excited to see it again, is that he sees the TV glow. And to me, in my optimistic view of the ending, is that it's still there, even though his body and in his mind, his soul has aged 60 years. It's still there. The pink opaque is still there. The girl inside of him, or whatever, his true identity is still there, and he smiles knowing that there is still time. I bring it back to the chalk on the street. There's still time, and I think that's really cool. And he walks away, and people were counterpointing this. Cash was counterpointing this with, as he walks out of because this is like the final shot of the movie, is him walking out of the bathroom down the hallway or whatever, and nobody acknowledges him. And they were like, well, maybe it's that it doesn't matter. They don't care. To me, in my optimistic view, I can go back and forth on the ending, happy, sad. But for this optimistic view that I've been trying to explore, is that he realizes, and I think it's something that Maddie realizes, that this is him or them as an individual, and that those people don't really matter. Those people don't matter as much as him discovering that even though his heart was taken out and put in a freezer and he was buried alive, that the TV is still glowing, and that Owen can be who he wants to be, no matter the outside influences. And I think that's kind of like a cool idea of the ending to explore. I'm curious what you think, because everyone I brought this idea to, they were like, that's a cool idea, but I think this ending is horrifically depressing. I'm like, oh shit. So what do you think of that?
Oh my god, it's like the movie me
It's a lot, eh?
Oh man. Thinking of it that way shifts everything. So thank you. I just shifted it up to out of 100.
It's a really cool thought that I think is, and Jane Schoenbrunn is doing they're on the A24 podcast tomorrow to talk about the movie, and I'm really hoping they talk about the ending, because again, it's a movie that can mean lots of different things, but I'm very curious to see their interpretation of the ending. Because
first of all,
yeah.
I want to put more things, because there were two things I realized that we didn't mention. First of all, Emma Stone produced this movie. Just want to put that out there.
What a W.
That's awesome. Also, we completely skipped over her monologue in the auditorium. How was that?
There's just too much to talk about.
I mean, first of all, that's some of the best line delivery I've seen in years. But we need to talk about your explanation because my God, does it make a lot of sense? And I'm still trying to like click it in my head. I click. I needed to put a quick pause. But number one, I think you're correct. I do. I wholeheartedly believe that because if seeing the TV glow literally means accept, then what else could that possibly be?
Yeah.
Man.
I'm so like conflicted on like I want this movie to stay in theaters for as long as possible because it deserves the money, but also like give it to me on digital now so I can watch it at home as many times as I want.
Waiting, like sitting, counting, and
give me a date and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I'm sitting refreshing Reddit to see when someone says, "Oh yeah, and they're releasing an A24 Collector's Edition 4K." Like that's what
I need a 4K so bad.
But I'm sad enough they're not releasing a Challengers 4K and they're just releasing a stupid blue. But
dude, really quick, I need to. Jane went to the Criterion Closet to do one of those videos where you pick out the movies, right?
She did? Or
yeah.
they
Yeah, I'll try and find the link on Twitter. But Jane brought up, she's like, they're like, I had this idea for a movie where it's a buddy road trip comedy about a bunch of guys who try to bring girls to the Criterion Closet to lose their virginities. I was like, that sounds like the best movie ever made. Holy shit! I'll try and find the video and send it to you.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's kind of like how I've been seeing the ending. I mean, on first watch, immediate reactions were like, yeah, I didn't click the everyone was younger and was the same age. So I'm really glad that Cash pointed that out because it was immediately he's stuck in the same old place and repressing everything, and it's still there and he's happy to notice that it's still there, but then he goes back to his day to day, and that's kind of what they were saying was that, he walks down and nobody acknowledges him saying I'm sorry. But then I'm like, I like my ideas better.
Yeah, I like your ideas better. I would love if this movie actually does have a happy ending. I think that's great. I also just want to feel like Owen leaves this movie doing all right.
Dude, that is why so I was like, man, Owen deserves it. Owen deserves it so bad. He deserves it so bad.
If you click together all of the things we've said in this episode, and he went on a complete mental spiral trying to justify that she killed herself, and now he's able to accept himself at the end, let the guy have a happy ending.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think we might wrap it up there, and Trey will be watching this very soon, and you know what? We're gonna talk about it all over again because, again, this movie is fucking amazing. It's perfect. It's my number one of the year. I was like, I saw a TikTok today of somebody getting the ghosts with the glasses tattooed on the back of their neck like the pink opaque, and I was like, shit, man, maybe I should do that because this is a cool movie.
Terrified to have that thing. That's like honor.
Yeah.
I would. Oh my God! Because then if you find someone else who has it, does the whole movie happen to you?
Yeah, you're fucked. But yeah, I Saw the TV Glow is a monumental film. There is so much to dig into. There's so many interpretations. I don't think any of them are wrong. You can disagree with some, but I think everyone will take a little bit different out of this movie. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's so good. Please go watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me a little of A Brighter Summer Day, where it's really no two people who have the same.
I need to watch that.
It's just go watch, like he said. Absolutely.
Yeah. Try and see it in the theaters. If you can't, that's okay because the distribution is shitty, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They say nationwide, but it's like, oh yeah, one theater per maybe every city. The UK isn't like I was in the Real Talk. We got a bunch of UK guys. They're not getting this till July in theaters. July 19th. Criminal. That's insane. So
is it going to be on streaming for them before it's in theaters?
Probably.
Oh my god.
Which sucks. But yeah, go see this movie. If not, as soon as it drops on VOD, watch it. It is worth the money. Rent it, buy it, whatever. If you've seen it, please drop a comment in the comments and let us know if you agree, if you disagree, because we want to talk about this movie. And, if you're like, oh yeah, do another little segment, we will, because it's fascinating to discuss. My letterbox is Evan0567. Trey's is Trey the Film Noob. He's that basically everywhere. Jagger, yours is Jagger Film Fan?
Yeah, mine Jagger Film Fan on Letterboxd.
You plug your other socials.
I don't really use any of them. Maybe Jagger Film Reviews on X, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah.
That's all.
I Jagger saw this last week and I was so excited when he saw it because I was like, I've been talking to people over chats about it and I cannot wait to talk to somebody face to face about this. I had a fantastic time. We talked about this movie for like an hour. I could talk about it for even more.
It's phenomenal. I mean, I just can't wait for Trey to watch it so we can do another.
Me too. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it more because we're both probably gonna have seen it again by then. And
absolutely.
We'll have even more perspective to it, which is awesome. Yeah. This has been the Average Film Enjoyers podcast, and we'll see you on Friday or Saturday for some Jeff Profit plus Marlon Brando on the Waterfront. Also, On the Waterfront wins the award for plugging the name of the film the most times possible. I was fucking dying laughing at that. And we're going to talk about Gone Girl, which is my number one David Fincher. Trey loves it. Jagger really loved it. Yeah, it's going to be super fun. So we'll see you Friday.
Yeah.
Trey, I think we need you to end. I think we need you to end it